And Adam is back, Artem is back, and Ronald is back, and it is still here. And yeah, let's talk about the architecture, about the future, about the specific topics. But also, I'll ask Ronald my first question: do you use AI for your work?
Yes, I use it most of the time. I use ChatGPT, by the way, and it's really helpful. But
All
I'm
right.
like
Well,
cutting off the time
what do
to,
you what do you exactly do with ChatGPT during development?
um, for example, that we are going to like I haven't implemented. So we are working on the chat service before, just about 2 weeks
Okay.
ago, and then I haven't family. I don't familiar with the WebSocket, so I can ask
Okay.
ChatGPT on the example of the chat service and then try to understand from there. So maybe the code provided is not really um, well executed code, but we can learn from it and then try to fix it. So I think it's very kind of like cutting off the time for the learning curve. So it's going to be help us to learn something very fast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Learning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Thank you very much. And yeah. Let's probably. I just wonder, Artem. You mentioned you use uh, Copilot a lot. What do you exactly do with Copilot? Could you share some I don't know use
Yeah.
cases?
So the one of the best examples I can give, that since I was speaking about specifications, I use Copilot to write these specifications, because it knows everything about the schemas and what kind of data there should be. So I just provide some, I don't know, the comment in the spec, and then Copilot helps me with the implementation and the code generation as well. But most of the
All
times
right.
it just writes code.
It writes code for you. Wow. That's your answer. Okay. So refactoring, learning, and even code generation. Well, that's nice. Speaking about AI and like your role of software architect, um, because most of functions we mentioned now is more more engineering stuff. But as an architect, where do you see maybe in future the impact of large models or AI or whatever? Here's my first question to you, my dear speakers. How do we leverage AI in architecture? I mean, in creating architecture, revising, especially at the prototyping stage. What do you think about that? Probably, probably I'll ask. Okay, Artem, you turned your microphone on.
Yeah,
Go on.
I'm trying to be the first one to reply to this question, because I personally believe, and I'm waiting for this moment when we have the technical interviews, specifically the system design step. And I believe when AI can replace the interviewer on the other side and just provide everything we need based on some requirements. I don't know, I need the video chat service, and it will, analyze all the inputs, all the users, all the workloads, and generate the whole architecture, which you can validate later with another AI or something like this. That I believe would be very, very helpful for software architecture.
Very similar to what Adam and CodeSyn does with refactoring. Adam, what do you think about future of AI and software architecture?
It's an interesting topic, and what I personally think is that we have a long way to go. I think one of the big problems with AI assisted coding, I mean, I might come across as someone that's negative towards it. That's simply not true. I embrace it. I think AI has a lot of potential. I just don't think we're there yet, and I think it's being oversold. So this whole idea that you heard for like a year ago that AI is going to replace programmers, I think we are nowhere near that, right? I don't think anyone realistically expects that. But what I think looking into the future is that AI can help us with a lot of tasks that are extremely time consuming and super hard. I think in particular around software architecture, the whole observability feedback loop, I think that's like a sweet spot for AI, analyzing massive amounts of data, drawing conclusions based on that. And I can easily imagine like a chat interface, right, where I can chat with my running architecture, my running system, right, and draw conclusions that I could never do otherwise. So I think there's a lot of promise there.
Great. Thank you very much. Chat with your architecture. It's a nice selling point. Great. And Ron.
Okay, so from my experience, I think AI is very helpful because they are language-based model. I mean, like when we are talking about the best practice, implementing something like discussing about the system designs, it's not very common to implement the best practice of another company and just apply it right away in our company. So we need to adjust it based on our situation and conditions, like the traffic, the users, the workflow, everything. It's going to be adjustable. And when we are going to kind of like what I've been done in the past is I joined the conference and learning from the expert about how they are scaling things up. But is it really the one that I need? Is it really the one that answers my problems? The answer is not. So I need to adjust it. And how do I know something which is on the gray area, which is I'm not really sure of because I'm not familiar with it. So how I can do it is by basically I can ask AI, ChatGPT, to discuss about this kind of thing. And then later on, I try to understand, try to dive deep into the tools, the services, there is another things, and then, policing from that. So it's going to be helpful, in terms of designing the systems.
All right. Thank you very much. Yes, we hope future models will be learned not from all Stack Overflow discussions and Quora and everything, but from I don't know. So somehow they will be filtered with useful only or something because sometimes it gives us weird answers. All right. So the first question from our audience, Ronald, goes to you, and please read the one and answer what you think here.
Okay, so CQRS has implementation complexity. Yeah, that's correct. Will vertical slice architecture will vertical slice architecture the right choice with CQRS? I'm not quite sure I got the questions. So by vertical slice, I mean like you are going to do vertical scale. Vertical scaling is going to be good, but it's going to be limited because the increase of the traffic, it's not might be as the same as your vertical scaled surface. So yeah, I think horizontal scale will be very nice to be implemented on the CQRS. Oh, I'm on the right choice with the CQRS. On the right choice, I think you can use sharding for the right. You don't have to vertical scale for your DB. You can use sharding. It's also possible. Yeah, we experienced that one before.
All right, thank you very much. If any of speakers would like to add something on this question, if you're familiar with, please go ahead. Not really. Okay, then we'll go to All right, then we go to questions to Artem about we have two real long questions to you, so please read. It's on the first part, and then we go to second part. Nothing on the project structure. Oh, sorry, no. It just it stops here. Yeah. So, is it clear enough?
The main question here is how to fix the bug if there is no correct understanding of the project structure. I'm not sure that if it's directly connected to the specifications topic, which I was referring to, but I can try to reply to this. ask as well. So for me personally, when there is something what I don't understand about the project, I'm trying to follow the great principle, like 5 whys. And basically, if you have some bug and you understand the the actual result of this bug, you can just ask why does it happen, for example, and then you can check the actual area of the project, regardless of other project structure. You don't care about this at the same time. So basically, if you find a more deep level what might be a reason for this bug, you ask the second why. Why does it happen on this level? And usually by asking 5 whys and going deeper into the project structure, you can find the actual reason and try to understand how to fix this bug. By the way, if you are using specifications with code generation, this will never happen because everything will be generated and you will be caring only about the business logic. So again, I encourage you to use that approach.
That's awesome, actually. Okay, I have next question to you, Artem.
Okay,
Uh,
I'm wondering
one,
how can we remove the code from the repository if that code is required? Oh, that's a great question. Yeah. So I also had this question when I started working with the code generation, and there is the great thing that basically the all code what was generated by this specification or by some pipeline or whatever it is, it still works on your local machine. So basically, when you work with the project, you run this generation command, but all these files will be excluded from your Git index. So technically, for all this IDE autocompletion, IntelliSense, and unit tests, it will be still in place. But you can just reduce the complexity of the code what would be pushed into your repo, because it doesn't need to be there to review the business logic, but it will be generated again during the build or release pipeline. So technically, you still have the same set of files on your local machine, but it's more optimized in your repository. And I hope that describes the behavior.
okay, thanks for answering. And next question is from me to audience. People, do you have any experience to use any AI tools for refactoring? Because Adam presented the interesting approach and explained that, but I'm interested to hear from you. Do you tried this? Can you imagine that in future you won't need like refactoring old code coming to a new job and stuff? Do you have any thoughts on that? Please share in chat. And we are going to our next question, also to Artyom. Very long question. I didn't know how to actually shorten that one. So could you please read aloud, and I will display the next
Yeah,
one.
sure. I will try to see 3 parts of the question, but okay, let's get started. For Open API, how do you solve the concerns of the developers of increasing their cognitive load added by needing to learn yet new tools, Go Swagger, handwritten YAML, and others? At our company, we tried solving this issue by creating your design document in your development language, which is by just writing the method signature without implementation and then generating the spec with swashbuckle by example, any thoughts. So yeah, this is exactly the problem I was referring to, because when you have this approach with the code first and generate the specification based on your code, you still have blockers for other engineers, because you cannot provide specification to your customer if there is no code. And basically, I'm not saying that it will be easy for your engineers to get on board to these tools like GoSwagger or YAML or something like this, but it will save their effort as well in the future. So there is still an effort to migrate from the current process to another process, but that's exactly how you can get improvements. So as I mentioned during the talk, that you should use at least two things to achieve this result. First of all is enforcement, and yes, it will add more cognitive load for your engineers for some time. And the second is try to use on a small projects at first. For example, if you have a small microservice, let's say with 3 endpoints, then you can apply the specification first approach on this particular service. And if everybody can get familiar with these technologies and experiment with it freely, then they will be able to migrate and apply the same approach or the development for other services. But yeah, nobody says that it's easy. At some point, you will struggle. You will spend more time. You will get some failures. You will face some errors as well. But after all of this process, you will never go back. Actually, that is at least that's my opinion, because now I don't want to write code before the specification, because I can write the document and then everything is done. I can share with everyone and I can generate code, especially with AI. So yeah, that would be my answer.
And yeah, thank you. And just arrived the next question. Well, specifications like is a thing today. Everybody is like interested in. So yeah, please read this one.
Okay, when you say specifications, considering if we document our discussions probably with clients and then we have Jira stories for development, do we need to have specification document in that case? So when I say specifications, I mean all these documents which could be used for code generation. In particular, it might be Open API, which is Swagger. It might be a Sync API. It might be, I don't know, infrastructure as a code. It might be Kubernetes YAML files or whatever it is. So I'm not referring to the actual, let's say, Word document, because it is a specification, but not technical specification. You cannot generate code from it unless there is some AI tool, very advanced AI tool. But in this case, I would say that document that will describe how the project works is up to you. You can have it or you can skip it, because the main our main purpose is to deliver the product, right? And if you can deliver product without this document, then you don't need it. And I believe that this is a great thought, that everything what is optional is not needed. Since you can generate code only from the technical specifications like OpenAPI, I would say that this is the most important part.
All right, cool. Thanks for answering this question. Adam, I'm sorry we don't have more questions about the refactoring tool you described from audience today, but maybe you will share more about Code Scene. What do you guys do there? What's coming out? I don't know, to let us know what happens there. Maybe you have something useful for architects to share.
I think so. I mean, basically what I'm working on is to help us make code, software architecture, software systems easier to understand, because I think that's a must. I mean, we create more code than ever before at a faster pace than ever before. So I think that's a really important point, and I'd be more than happy to discuss this. So if anyone's interested, then feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be more than happy to have a conversation.
Great. Thank you very much for your input, Adam, Artem, Ronald. Thank you for spending time, energy, sharing with the community. Let's stay in touch. And I see, no, it's nothing. Yeah. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye-bye. And I mean, yeah, one more question probably to Artem, if you would answer that.
No, it's for Adam. For Adam, for sure.
Oh, for Adam, I'm sorry, yeah.
It says Adam at least, but so yeah. I can try to answer it quickly. Adam, do you think that including AI code support or relying on AI for junior or entry-level developers deviates them from critical thinking and basic blocks of development? Yes. And I also don't think it's restricted to juniors. I actually think that AI in its current state is not a particularly good tool for learning. And it's not only due to what we popularly call hallucinations. It's also that I think that in order to truly learn something, we need to understand it at a deeper level. And I think trying to learn a new concept, a new programming language via AI leads to a very shallow understanding, right? So in general, I think we should be very careful with using AI for something we don't understand.
And more questions coming up. Thank you for answering. And next question to Ronald. Could you please read it?
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Ed. Ronald, for secure as application to handle messages and handlers for all use cases, is it good to use mass transit packages? I'm not quite familiar with this too. I'm sorry. So basically, I'm using Go. So for handle messages and handlers, uh, I'm currently build the services based on Go. And then for the outbox, we create our own library to create the outbox. And it's going to do similar the way that I show you on the slide. And for the handlers, which is the one that going to, like the subscriber or the worker, we are going to run it concurrently. So we register it and run it concurrently and listen to the event. So every event published or every event published which registered for that subscriber, we are going to listen to it and then start processing the data. That's how we do. So for the packages mentioned, I'm sorry that I haven't experience with those both.
That's fair enough. Yeah, thank you that for answering. And one more for now is for Artem for sure, because it says Artem.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I will read it. Is it possible to combine, let's say, Swagger and protobuf generation? I would say yes. Oh, it's just the beginning. Okay.
Yeah,
Or
I'm not sure.
is it?
Yeah, I'm not sure it was. Yeah, sorry for confusion. The question is over here. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with this one. I would say yes, because in particular, you have two ways of keeping these specifications. And basically for protobuf generation, you usually use a gRPC in place to define what are the contracts. And for Swagger, it's more about REST APIs. So it is kind of different dimensions, but you can have it in one service and basically use gRPC for protobuf generation. And at the same time, you can right after this generate the code from Swagger. So it's still separately, but yeah, you can combine it, or even with a sync API as well. So you can have free specifications in your service and generate everything. So feel free to do whatever you want.
Feel free whatever you want. Thank you. And now this is to Adam about refactoring.
Yes. So should we have concerns sharing the business logic with the various AI models? So in general, yes, we should definitely be concerned. In the specific case, as tool vendors, we typically take care to make sure that your code is safe. So we went through, when we did this refactoring tool, we call it Codes in Ace, we went through all these legal hops to make sure that your source code is never persisted anywhere. It's never used for training. It's never stored. So we can give those guarantees. But I also know that it's non-trivial because it can depend on so many factors, like which API you use, which relationship you have to the AI service provider. For example, if you're an enterprise plan or in a free plan. So you have, in general, I recommend you to be careful.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for hinting us that it's important to be careful. Yes, I think that's all. And yeah, we'll get back to you guys in LinkedIn later, and hopefully we'll meet you someday in person. Thank you, again, and have a nice day. And I'm inviting you here, our next moderator. Wait a second. Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.